The Fox and the Grapes, Part 2. Each time, he missed the grapes by just a few inches. His paws swiped at empty air, and the grapes remained tantalizingly out of reach. Felix's frustration grew with each failed attempt. His muscles ached, his fur was matted with sweat, and his mouth was parched from the effort. But still, he refused to give up. After several more failed attempts, Felix finally sat down beneath the tree, panting heavily. His once sharp eyes were now dull with exhaustion, and his once proud tail lay limp in the dirt. For the first time in his life, Felix began to doubt himself. He looked up at the grapes, still glistening in the sunlight, mocking him from their lofty perch. He knew he could not reach them, no matter how hard he tried. But instead of admitting defeat, Felix's pride got the better of him. "Humph," he scoffed, standing up and brushing the dirt from his fur. "Those grapes are probably sour anyway. Who would want to eat such terrible fruit? Not me, that's for sure." And with that, Felix turned and trotted away. His head held high as if he had won some great victory. But deep down, he knew the truth. The grapes were not sour, and he had failed to reach them. One day, while walking through the forest, Felix encountered a wise old owl named Oliver. He had seen much in his long life and was known for his wisdom and understanding of the world. "Why so glum, Felix?" Oliver asked, perching on a low branch and peering down at the fox with his large, round eyes. Felix hesitated. He didn't like to admit his failures, especially not to someone as wise as Oliver. But something about the owl's gentle tone made him feel safe enough to speak. "I tried to reach some grapes the other day," Felix confessed, his voice low. "But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get to them. And now, I can't stop thinking about it." Oliver tilted his head thoughtfully. "Ah, the grapes on the old oak tree," he said. "I've seen many creatures attempt to reach them. They are quite high, and difficult to attain. Even the cleverest of creatures face challenges they cannot overcome alone," Oliver said kindly. "Perhaps this is not about the grapes, but about your own pride. It's not a failure to ask for help or to recognize that some things are beyond our reach." Felix frowned, considering the owl's words. He had never thought of himself as prideful. But now, in the light of his conversation with Oliver, he realized that his pride had indeed blinded him. If he had only been willing to ask for help, perhaps he would have enjoyed the sweet taste of the grapes. "Failure is a part of life," Oliver replied. "What matters is how we respond to it. You can let it make you bitter, or you can learn from it and grow." Felix nodded, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. For the first time in days, he felt a sense of peace. Perhaps he hadn't been able to reach the grapes, but he had gained something far more valuable. A lesson in humility and the importance of accepting one's limits. As Felix walked away from his conversation with Oliver, he felt a new sense of resolve. He might not always succeed in everything he set out to do, but that didn't mean he had to give up. And maybe, just maybe, the next time he saw those grapes, he would approach the situation differently. Perhaps with a little less pride and a little more wisdom. The end.